Hustle is the energy of fear and scarcity. You actually can't bulldoze your way to success in this kind of space, doing this kind of work. You have to attract clients who feel your heart, who feel your soul, and feel your authenticity. Notice I keep saying feel. So we need to stop working in the hustle ways that you see others doing, or in ways that you might have been taught. We've got this embodied, cyclical way of going about working and attracting clients and sharing our heart and our purposes. When you're tapped into this embodied, cyclical way, you are so much less likely to burn out because first and foremost, you're prioritizing you and your well-being, overdoing and overriding your energy. This approach also helps you to be more aligned and energized, and that's magnetic. Welcome to the Wild Flow podcast with me, Charlotte Puanto, an award-winning menstrual cycle coach and priestess, and the founder of First Moon Circle School. I guide women to honor and embrace their sacred cycles in their life, leadership, and business. Let's say hi to more ease and flow by co-creating with your body, and goodbye to struggle and burnout. This podcast features soul-enriching conversations, inspiring you to love your cycle, lead as a sacred leader, and grow a life and business that serves you by harnessing cyclical life and business practices. Join me and other change makers, thought leaders, and wise women to embrace and embody your wild flow. Hey, lovely. Welcome back to Wild Flow Podcast. Today, we're talking about how to stop hustling in your business. This is something that I see so many people doing. It's believing that we need to hustle to get anywhere, to grow, to be successful. And this is the culture that we've lived in and been raised in. But I'm here to show you it is not the only way. And I'd love to share some tips about why we're hustling and how to stop it. So what is hustling? Hustling is that fast-paced vibe of doing the things that someone tells you will work. It's absolute consistency and overriding working at every available moment and being busy to make money and to be successful because we believe that money is the priority and that we have to be busy in order to make that money instead of actually focusing on and caring about what it is that we're here to do and who we're here to serve and the difference that we're here to make, that purpose. So we hustle because we've been told from an early age not to be lazy. So if you think back to being a kid, I bet you anything you experience stories like, don't be lazy, keep yourself busy. What are you doing? You should be doing something. Ingrained attitudes about productivity as being king and that we've got to work hard to get anywhere. Like having a strong work ethic is really important. And if you work hard, you'll go far. And that if you don't do that, basically you should feel guilty. Maybe it's to do with money stories as well, about money not growing on trees, about us needing to work really hard to have anything and to get ahead. And this whole vibe of scarcity that if we don't keep working, then it's going to run out. That safety, security is going to run out. And this just goes back to Victorian times, the Industrial Revolution, where the 9 to 5 or Monday to Friday work week actually came from. And it's this idea that people were put to work. They were taken from the countrysides, offered work in these factories and workhouses, women, children, and men. And they had to really work. And they would get paid very, very little. They would get completely overworked. And it was this all about squeezing the maximum efficiency out of humans. So how little can we pay them? How little can we feed them? How little rest do they need to get the absolute maximum productivity out of humans? And we don't go to work in factories anymore in that same way. Times have changed, but our work ethic on the whole, as a global attitude, hasn't really. So it's still with us, this ingrained attitude that we have to be productive, to be successful, worthwhile, worthy, valuable humans who are contributing to our families and our culture, communities. And it's just not true. I think we're at a point in time, particularly now more than ever, where values of success are not directly tied to wealth and status. And of course, they are for a lot of people. I'm not ignorant to that. But there's a lot of us who are coming through who are saying, of course, I need to make enough money to live and this has to be worthwhile. But I'm actually less concerned about status, less concerned about the power that money brings, less concerned about just making money for the sake of making money, and more about being of service and integrity and impact and making a difference. But there's also this belief that in order to be that service-based healer or medicine woman, or today we have coaches, facilitators, mentors, anyone who's doing any kind of healing work or service-based work. There's this huge story as well that comes through years of oppression of women that we are not allowed to make money to do that. And it's because women were taken out of work and they were demonized for their healing ways and the way that we can support people, help people heal, whatever that was, whether it was herbalism or midwifery or priestessing as the rights of the community, or cooking, or raising families. Women were put into the homes, they were separated, and they were made to do their domestic labor for free whilst men went out and worked and didn't share the wealth. So there's this old story that lives within us. It's in our DNA, where we feel like we can't charge appropriate money, where we don't deserve to have abundance as well if we're here to be of a soulful or spiritual impact. I firmly believe that we can have both without feeling guilt or shame about it. So my personal attitude is that I am here to be of deep service, deep, deep, deep service to individuals and to the collective. I am here in service of helping women to remember their cyclical nature and to let that lead them into the life and business that they desire, and to make that impact on the world. And so, as a woman who has her own business, as mother of 3 children, as a wife, as someone who has all kinds of hobbies and responsibilities and interests outside of my work, I believe I'm here to live first and work second. But my business is here to be of service to others, but it also has to be of service to me, so I can work and show up and keep sustaining this impact that I am desiring to have in the world. But it can also have the impact and provide the support to my family as well that we need. So my husband doesn't need to work full time and be completely burnt out and strung out himself. I want him to be able to work less, and we can work more equally so we can both be equal parents. I want my children to see their mother doing something she's deeply fulfilled by and passionate about and making good money doing it. And I, really believe that being able to hold the energy of I'm here to make an impact, but I deserve to make money too is important. But we don't need to do that from a hustle place. And then on the other side of hustling, we've got manifesting. So there's so many people out there now teaching manifesting. And things like, I just wrote down this wish and it appeared, or I'm making like hundreds of thousands of dollars in my sleep, or while I was on vacation, or whatever it is. And I also just want to bust that. Like, that isn't actually true either. Like, that doesn't just happen. You have to put in the work. You've got to put in the infrastructure and the foundations to support that money to flow to you, and for your impact to flow out into the world. It doesn't just happen. So manifesting, that's the opposite energy of just like sitting back and doing absolutely nothing and letting your goals and desires just come to you. So in order for us to be able to manifest, what we actually need to do is put in the work. We need to have a tried and tested offer and product that's aligned with your client needs. You need to have an audience and relationship even before that. So you've got someone to share your service with. And you need to be deeply and energetically aligned with your offer and with your service and deeply believe in what you're sharing and deeply believe in yourself and your competency and capacity to do it. So, that phrase, energy flows where attention goes. Well, we have to put our focus on the foundations and get that right, and get your energy and mindset in alignment too. I think that hustle is a surefire way to block the flow of clients and money to you, and to block your energy and impact going back out into the world as well. If you're hustling, you're so likely to be burnt out, trying to keep up with where you think you should be at, watching others, what they're doing, and comparing yourself to where they're at, like benchmarking yourself. You're trying to gauge your level of success based on other people instead of your own intrinsic values and measures of success. So instead of looking inwards and focusing solely on yourself and what you're doing, you're busy looking outwards. And I think that you're hustling because you don't trust yourself, your vision, your way, not believing that you can do this, that clients will come, because hustle is the energy of fear and scarcity. You actually can't bulldoze your way to success in this kind of space, doing this kind of work. You have to attract clients who feel your heart, who feel your soul, and feel your authenticity. Notice I keep saying feel. Feel your energy. So we need to stop working in the hustle ways that you see others doing, or in ways that you might have been taught to do yourself. So we've got hustle on one side, we've got this like idea of bullshit manifestation on the other side where we just sit back and chill. And then in the middle, we've got this embodied way, this embodied cyclical way of going about working and attracting clients and sharing our heart and our purposes. And this is where I land on the spectrum. So when you are operating from a place of ease and spaciousness, trust and inspiration, you are so much more open to even better offers and ways of doing things, because creativity and inspiration opens right up. You can be a channel for what else wants to come through. And when we are in our head, which I think of as being hustle, it's like push, 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 override. We're not actually connected inwards to ourselves. We're not connected to our body. We're not connected to all of the wisdom that we hold. And we're not open to divine inspiration to come through us, which can often lead us down the path of doing something or doing it in a way that is just even better than we could have imagined. You're so much more likely not to make or offer the first thing you think of that actually doesn't work for you as your client, which can cause you to waste huge amounts of time and energy, and you only have to go back to the drawing board. That's when you're hustling. So when you're coming from this deeply connected, embodied place, you are more likely to take your time to let your ideas brew in your creative cauldron, and to make sure that it's actually what your clients want from you, because you've built relationships and you understand where they're at and you understand how you can help them and guide them and offer something that they really desire, rather than just putting something out because it's there, because it's the first thing you thought of and you're hustling. So don't waste all that time and energy. Be really aligned and connected, and create from that place. So when you're tapped into this embodied cyclical way, you are so much less likely to burn out by a long, long way. Because first and foremost, you're prioritizing you and your well-being, overdoing and overriding your energy. You know that your well-being comes first, because that is the foundation for everything. Everything else flows from there. Burnout is not something that you just go, well, I'll just, crash and burn when that time comes. But until then, I'm just going to keep soldiering on. No. And you're intentionally giving yourself the time and the space and prioritizing looking after you and cultivating your energy and your health, because you know that that is going to serve you in the long run to be sustainable. So, this approach also helps you to be more aligned and energized, and that's magnetic. So, when you feel truly ready and right about what you're offering, people can feel it and they want to lean in. Remember that in this space, doing this kind of work, where there are so many people doing something fairly similar to what you're doing, they're buying from you because of your energy and they can feel you. So the difference is you, not just in how you do things differently, but mostly because they like you and they like your energy and they can feel your energy and they want it to have some more of that to hold them and guide them. So, by taking a slower, sustainable, and considered embodied approach to business, you're attracting clients who value what you value. So, you'll be able to serve them as best as you possibly can. And you'll be able to stay in this for the long run. And you'll be so much more fulfilled. And because of this, because you are creating the conditions for your own success, you're going to build more evidence that you can do this and do it so well. And that self trust is just going to deepen and you'll become stronger and more connected to yourself and clearer on who you are and what you're here to do. Basically, everything just goes in your favor. And it helps you to stop competing against other people and find a rhythm that works for you. So, needless to say, when you work with your menstrual cycle, you're more effortlessly able to create, plan, share, attract clients, and deliver as well, because you're working with your natural energies at the right time. Instead of just trying to attract clients because you're supposed to be according to some hustle based plan that you put together, if you're, example, deep in your premenstrual phase and you're feeling your most tender and self critical and tired, why would you be aligning your like launch time or your outreach time at that point in your cycle? Like, why would you do that to yourself? No, that's just setting yourself up for failure. So when we can actually instead understand where our strengths lie in our menstrual cycle and we can work with those strengths and align our business tasks to that, then we're just going to be more efficient, more in flow, and we're going to be more successful, which is going to again build our inner self trust and resilience. Hey, have you discovered your sacred cyclical leadership style yet? Take my juicy free archetype quiz to discover your primary style as she shows up in you and in the way you create, lead, and share your big magic in the world. By taking the quiz, you receive an in-depth, juicy playbook featuring a full breakdown of how the archetype lives in you and tips, tools, and strategies to expand your archetypal gifts, nourish your vulnerabilities, and come to balance so you can lead, grow, and serve at your highest potential. Understand how your archetype is linked to your menstrual cycle and the seasons of life and business, and ultimately have so much fun taking this magic mirror quiz. Go to charlottepointo.com/quiz. And in case you're wondering, mine is the mystic. How about you? I'd love to know which result you get. So it's so important. It's like fundamental that we understand our cycle and that we know where we're at and that we are considering what we need. So even if we can't cycle sync perfectly, if you do have to do something in the like least aligned phase of your cycle, then maybe you're aware of that and you can put in some strategies to support yourself to do it well, to be buffered by it so you don't get thrown. Or maybe you just need extra downtime or planning time beforehand or after. So really, really considering your cycle. Breaking up with hustle means seeing that there is a season for all business tasks and that each is as important as the other. I think it's so important that we stop seeing like the delivery, the outreach, the showing up every day consistently as being the measure of success in business. That's just so not true. We shouldn't be selling every day. I think that it's really important to consider this seasonal approach because then we're allowing optimal time for resting and visioning, planning and innovating, and setting up the systems that can help us, and valuing these as just being as equally important and equally weighted as launching, delivering, doing client sessions, making content, whatever it is that you do in your work, seeing all parts as just as an important piece of the puzzle as the other pieces, and knowing that the whole doesn't happen without each one of those puzzle pieces being in place. So it's not possible to do all the things all the time. When we take a seasonal approach and recharge your batteries, we can work smarter and not harder. If you've been in the online business world, seeing others talk about how much money they're making and how fast they're growing and quantum leaping and how they're smashing goals by hustling, and you're just watching on the sidelines thinking, well, I could do that, but I really don't want to. I actually want to find my own way, a gentler way, a more sustainable, slower, inspired, and balanced way. I hear you. If you're sick of the hustle, and if you've been in spaces or working with coaches or just observing through Instagram, for example, people who are really, really like chugging away and smashing it out and going all in, then it can leave you feeling like your nervous system is just amped up just from watching it. But if you have been trying to follow other people's expectations and timelines and meet other people's ideas of success, you're just going to find yourself more burnt out than not. So if you're thinking, like, I actually really want to do this a different way, then I'm here to show you. I'm all about working in a cyclical way, an embodied, pleasurable, and gentler way, a way that works with your capacity and honors your cycle and helps you to work to your own values and measures of success without leaving you feeling guilty that you're behind or you're not keeping up or that you're falling behind on somebody else's fast track pace. I'm here to guide you and teach you and coach you to work in a more feminine way so you can grow your soulful business whilst remaining in integrity with the way you want to live, work, and feel. And I'm here to empower you to find your own flow in your business by honoring your cycle so you can work efficiently without the burnout. And if you've been longing to be in a circle of cycle savvy soul sisters, business besties who get it, with people who share your passion for living first and working second, and if you want to be around a bunch of people who know that you as a collective are here to make a hell of an impact, but on your terms, then I'd love to share with you about my upcoming Cyclical Business Mastermind. This mastermind has been cooking away in my creative cauldron for some time as I've been really feeling into how I want this to be. Again, not rushing just because I had the idea, just letting it brew, letting it reach its full potency, and sharing it on a timeline that feels good for me. This mastermind is the home for a small, intimate, and empowered group of women to share the business journey with you, knowing that this involves not just the strategy of putting yourself out there and growing your business, but growing yourself, honoring yourself on the inside too. So you can hold yourself powerfully when imposter syndrome and self doubt strikes, so that you can always trust your body, trust yourself and your intuition. And so you can embody your sacred feminine leader energy. I want you to be queen of your business, queen of your timeline, to define what success means to you and to take back your power. Stop giving it away to people who are telling you you need to hustle in order to get anywhere. It is simply not true. We can take this gentler approach. If this sounds like it's for you, then in the mastermind, I'm going to be coaching and mentoring you to do the inner cycle work first to set the foundation for mastering everything else. I'll be sharing how I do business. So, two main pillars. So, the first one is the strategies for how I do things like socials and creating and launching, and how I go about running my business and giving you full behind the scenes and helping you to figure out what's going to work for you. So, instead of me sitting here going, this is how we do this and this is how we do that, I'll be helping you to figure it out for yourself to feel into what's going to work for you, what's in line with your nervous system, your circumstances, and your cycle. So this kind of strategic work is going to be a major part of it. And the other side is really helping you with that inner work, the mindset, the embodiment, the energetics, because this is so fundamental. We can have all the strategies, the game plan under our belt, but if we get psyched out with self-doubt, if we feel like we're not enough, if we are a perfectionist or a recovering perfectionist and we're just waiting for things to be right, if we're scared to put ourselves out there, if we don't back ourselves, if we're so afraid of burning out that it's better to just not bother at all, then I'm here to help you to really trust yourself, to feel safe in your body, to cultivate and take back your power, to channel inspiration, to help you refine your ideas, to help you step into your magic and share your impact and your services with the world so that you can grow this business that you desire. I see so many people, women, having all of the training under their belts. They are subject matter experts. They have so much to offer, but they're just not connecting between them and their ideal audience, their clients. They're holding back from really putting themselves out there and stepping fully in. So this mastermind is for a small group, maximum 8 women. It's intimate. Women who you might be in the early stages of your business, or you might have an existing business and you're like just so tired and done with burning out. And you actually just want to come back and find your way, find what's true for you, and be held in a sisterhood of people who fully get what you're trying to do and aren't going to shame you or guilt you or push you into trying to do this too fast, too much, and too soon. If you want to understand your cycle, if you're charting your cycle, but you're just not actually putting it into practice and working with your cycle in the best way, I'm here to hold you in that process. It's a 6-month commitment with the option to continue after that, as long as your heart, soul, and business feel inspired, supported, and enriched in the mastermind. Applications are going to open at the end of April. So for now, if this is something you'd love to hear more about, then I invite you to join the waitlist. You can find the waitlist at bit.ly/cyclical business. Just click the link in the show notes, put your details down, and you'll be on the waitlist. And that means that you'll get first invitation. It's first in, best dressed to apply, and some epic goodies as well. So thank you for being in our first round of this Cyclical Business Mastermind. So I hope that helps you think about hustling, thinking about where you're overriding, to just notice when you're pushing your body beyond your limits, whether it's as simple as setting up too many meetings in one day or too many clients because you can't say no to them. Whether it's feeling like you're showing up on social media, even though actually you're just like not in a juicy, expansive, open, connected, pleasurable state from which creativity and inspiration can pour forth, and you're beating yourself up for it. Whether you feel like you're just putting yourself out there or you're not getting anything back. Like, how aligned are you with the energy of your offering and with your client? And how much are you really trusting yourself? How much fear is there holding you back? Feel into all of this. Notice when you feel in flow, when you feel out of flow. Look at your cycle when you hustle and when you are more easeful and more joyful. Notice when you procrastinate, how you're procrastinating. So many clues when we work with our cycle, because all of this mindset and energetic work is cyclical. The way we do business is cyclical. And I'm here to help you connect those dots so that you can flow with more ease and grace and more potency to up your impact as a sovereign, cyclical leader that you are. Thanks so much for listening to Wild Flow. I love having you here and hope you loved this episode. If you did, please show your love by leaving a rating and review, and share your fave episodes with your cycle and biz sisters and those who haven't yet discovered the power of their body and cycle. This is how we collectively create change and heal the sisterhood. It makes such a difference. Thank you for sharing. Haven't discovered your cyclical leadership style yet? Take my free much loved quiz now to receive your free in-depth playbook on how to up your sacred leadership, grow your business, and thrive by embodying your cyclical archetype. Go to charlottepointeau.com/quiz now. Until next time, be devoted to your body as guide and your cycle as oracle.